I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes.
Say what now? Not Diddy's new essay accuser exposing Beyonce and Diddy for having something going on. Child, things are not looking too good for our girl Beyonce, because ever since the Diddy drama went down, her name just keeps getting dragged. Mind you, there's no evidence of any sort against Beyonce, but just because her husband Jay-Z has a close friendship with Diddy, everybody on the internet is speculating that Beyonce definitely knows something. As if that ain't bad enough, people are saying that the tape that the lawyer is talking about of Beyonce and Diddy is being auctioned in the industry to a whole lot of media publications, and they've already been offering millions to get it, with the highest bidder currently being TMZ. This tape is reportedly gonna drop any moment now, and it's gonna be a wrap for every celebrity who was getting oiled up and drilled by Diddy at them parties. In fact, the first batch of photos from one of these freak-offs leaked a few days ago and showed several celebrities, with some people freaking off. The first was this photo of Diddy pouring champagne on these two as they were touching themselves for his satisfaction. There's also this photo of one of Diddy's friends in the pool with two escorts while he was sucking on their tatas and doing other very intimate things with them. There were also photos of some very well-known celebrities who was at that party, including Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton, Chris Brown, Leonardo DiCaprio, the late Aretha Franklin, Obama, Trump, Harry, the list just goes on. These photos sent the internet into a frenzy, but it's really nothing compared to the alleged footage of Diddy and Beyonce that's about to be sold and released to the public. These rumors started a few days ago when an attorney who goes by the name of Ariel Mitchell Kidd appeared in an interview and revealed some disturbing information about a new client she's currently representing, who is also suing Diddy for SA. She didn't disclose the name of this client, but according to the client, they met Diddy back in 2018 at her friend's house. And after sipping on a few drinks that had been secretly spiked by Diddy, she started feeling woozy and eventually fell unconscious. Diddy then SA'd her with an inanimate object and then directed another man who he was with to also SA and pleasure himself. The saddest thing is, it wasn't just Diddy and this other man who were in the room during this SA. His assistant, Christina Karam, who Diddy usually calls his right hand, was also in the room, and according to this client, Diddy and Christina were discussing sex.
She called me and told me a very horrific story about her and her escape from the. She told me that she was at a friend's house who had industry ties and was on the phone with Diddy, and he decided to come to the house. And when he came to the house, everything was fine, that there was another woman there who we've determined to be Christina Coram, KK, who Diddy talks about a lot as his right-hand woman, if you will, and that they were discussing sexing her, and then that led to her being served a drink where then she started to feel woozy, and then Mr. Combs sexed her with an inanimate object, and then actually directed another gentleman to her while he watched and pleasured himself.
At some point during all of this, she came back to consciousness and managed to escape. She ran out of the house and started screaming for help, which prompted one of the neighbors to let her into their house and call the police.
So she was able to escape eventually and ran out into the streets yelling and screaming, and a neighbor heard her because this happened in a quiet suburban neighborhood, if you will.
So there's a witness?
Yes, we have a witness. We also have a police report. As she's running out the house yelling, a neighbor saw her and invited her into the home.
Okay.
And it's the neighbor who then called the police, and the police did come out at that time. They also stated that they heard cars screeching, and the neighbor went outside and saw a black SUV leaving the premises very quickly. And by the time the police arrived, of course, he was no longer there.
Well, was the neighbor able to identify who it was?
The neighbor wasn't, only that they saw the car leaving, and
Okay.
they only described the truck. They could not tell who was inside, but she told the neighbor at the time who it was and why they were leaving so abruptly.
However, even after making a police report, the police didn't do anything about it. And that's because Diddy had obviously paid them off. This was something he did to a lot of his victims, and that's why it took somebody as famous as Cassie to file a lawsuit before he was finally incriminated.
And due to the high-profile nature that it was Mr. Combs who did this, she was afraid for her life. She was concerned that if she was to come forward and say something, that no one would believe her, because we're talking about 2018 when Mr. Combs was still pretty much at the height of his career, still very much so an icon and influential figure. So she's just a young girl from Northern California who's gonna believe that he had done something to her like this. So she didn't tell anybody. She did not hire an attorney. All she did was make the police report in the hopes that maybe the police would try to investigate and come up with anything. But she said she kind of felt from the police that they were disregarding what she was saying, even without saying.
In the police report?
I don't think so. Based on what she said, she really felt that the police were trying to bury this and disregard her claims and not really investigate, which is another reason why a lot of victims don't report these things to the police. We have to address the elephant in the room is that we have victims, especially women, who go to the police, who are typically men, who don't actually investigate these things. They victim blame, they victim shame, and women don't feel safe or even protected to even make these claims because they don't think they'll be taken seriously, nor will their claims be investigated.
Now here's where this interview got a little messy, because Ariel revealed that another person reached out to her to represent them in the sale of the freak-off tape between Diddy and a certain high-profile celebrity. Ariel said she got to see the video herself, and according to her, the other high-profile celebrity is even more high-profile than Diddy. Not only that, but the person seemed very unaware that they were being filmed.
I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood, but one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and kill.
Catch and kill, correct.
Wow, can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No,
this
I
tape.
can't explain who the person was, but Mr.
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really? And you've seen it?
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video, and I can tell the video was in nature.
Oh my, all right. So we know that he videotaped a lot of activities at his home, did he? And it sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping, like they're being surreptitiously recorded.
Now, even though she didn't explicitly mention Beyonce's name, people got to speculating that the other person on the tape was allegedly Beyonce, especially after Ariel said the person was more high profile than Diddy himself. These rumors got even worse when a viral video of DaBaby spilling the tea about the time that he got invited to Diddy's house to have a secret intimate meeting with Diddy, Beyonce, and Jay-Z. According to DaBaby, Beyonce actually walked up to introduce herself, almost as if she was trying to flirt her way into something more than conversation, aka initiating a freak-off. DaBaby also said Diddy kicked out all the other non-important people from the room, leaving only him, Beyonce, and Jay in there. Once it was just the three of them, Diddy started to get a little touchy by putting his hands around his neck. In DaBaby's words, Diddy took a liking to him.
I was at a party at Diddy's crib, in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people he had put them out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there. Me and, you know, maybe about 15 others, you know.
Right.
Jay-Z and Beyonce being, you know, two of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put it into perspective of the type of company I was in at the moment, you know. And she came over and introduced herself to me like as if she had to. Beyonce, cut it out. But I'm a big fan of your work, you know what I'm saying? Whoop de whoop, and that was just dope. That was dope as hell to me, man. That was dope. That was super dope.
But it doesn't stop there, y'all. Do y'all remember the time that Diddy made the members of the band walk all the way downtown to New York to get him a cheesecake? It's unclear exactly which part of New York they were in at the time, but the trip downtown by foot was 4 hours long, and he made them walk there to get a cheesecake. This was honestly one of the earliest signs that Diddy was not right in the head, but people thought it was funny and that it was his way of testing loyalty with the boys. Freddie P., who was one of the members of the band, recently revealed in an interview with Art of Dialogue that the cheesecake wasn't actually for Diddy, it was for Beyonce. Yeah, y'all heard that right. Apparently, Beyonce was the one who told Diddy that she wanted cheesecake, but instead of her making somebody from her team go get it, she allowed Diddy to make the members of the band walk for hours to go get it, and then allowed him to humiliate them on camera for his TV show, Making the Band. Now, you'd think that she'd be grossed out by the embarrassment that Diddy put them through for that cheesecake, but allegedly she ain't care, and she definitely went on to eat it.
A lot of people don't know that cheesecake we went and got was for Beyonce. She was upstairs the whole time. What we was talking about again? Hold on. Yeah, that's a fun fact. People don't know. People like, y'all walked and got a cheesecake. It was for Beyonce. I listen to everything you say as if it's a contract. So if you say, walk to the store, or walk to get me some cheesecake, I'll walk to get you some cheesecake, but I'm not walking back. And that's just what me and Darlon did. And they like, why y'all, you know, they hot. Like, y'all cheating. And we like, he told us to walk. He didn't tell us to walk back. So we already in the hotel like 3 hours before they got there. When they said they was coming, we went and met him in front of the building. And you know the first thing that said out of his mouth? He said, we got the cheesecake. He was like, I don't want that shit. Take that shit upstairs for Beyonce. Then he said, they was like, yeah, man, we want to tell you, Fred and Darlon, they ain't walk back. You know, trying to be on some snitching shit. He's like, I ain't tell you niggas to walk back.
As if all this wasn't enough to fuel the allegations that it was Beyonce who was allegedly getting diddled in that video, some people said maybe it was Jay-Z because they used to be real close, and there was even rumors about Diddy allegedly drilling Jay's cheeks from time to time. These rumors got loud when this video of Diddy slapping Jay's cheeks multiple times on stage went viral, almost as if he was signaling to Jay that he was gonna be getting that thing after the show was over. Child, this one is a mess, y'all. Now, it's important to note that it hasn't been confirmed that it's Beyonce in that tape. We'll just have to wait till TMZ buys it and publicizes it, but until then, Beyonce's involvement in all this is just speculation. As usual, people had their own thoughts about this, like this person who said, Jay-Z, Beyonce, and P. Diddy are one and the same. She's dirty and believes she's not a victim. She loves these parties. I never cared for Beyonce. She's one of them girls that tries to come on all sweet and innocent when you know what the real truth is. They don't call her Queen Bee for nothing. Another person said, the floodgates have opened and Diddy will be completely drained when it's over. He should have just married his kid's mother and lived a life of peace and tranquility. But now I want to know your thoughts. Do y'all think it was really Beyonce in that alleged tape with Diddy? And do y'all think Diddy is gonna snitch on Beyonce once this trial starts? Y'all been knew what to do. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other very messy video.